Good morning, bonjour, and welcome everyone to the 2023 College Educational Forum. We are so pleased to have you join us today via live stream. My name is John Fleming. I'm a public member of Council and am honored and privileged to have recently been re-elected as chair of the College Council. I'll be moderating today's event. Before I go over a few housekeeping items, I would like to welcome one of our keynote panelists, Bernice Rezitnik, a member of the Sandy Lake First Nation, to offer a prayer to the Creator. Bernice.
Bonjour, ego nin kagzeba paskinage kwendigo, ego nengo saga nin dunji, ego namendu dem, ego numanendan moga bisayan, kakna e video nagok, ego ngay yam here, emunendaman. Kad de benchget cabbage ekan when muguyak moga gizkak ego moyak in cabbage e wichikuyak. Ego das muegesium hayan. Ego ga am here. Mue gemanto. Miguetskatuko. Mo cabbage kagan when mshan. Ego garbage means young gizga, ego the scare garbage means young where Jesus, garbage means young where Munyawan, garbage means young the Jesus, garbage means young our ego. Goyak juichu diang mo gamamo abiang ego chegakno viajan wenam mado with ganaganang akan gaun jiang ego deske awinu goyak gab jibizantamuad gau wiju mamo abiang. So I said, my name is Bernice Rezitnik. I'm from the Sandy Lake First Nation. My Indian name is Morning Mist Woman. And I'm from the Sturgeon clan. And I pray to Creator for us to keep us safe. And I thank Him for keeping us safe. And for bringing us here. And for us to have a good meeting. And for people that are traveling to keep them safe. And I just thank Him for the star, for the sun, the moon, the stars, and for the land that we are in, and for the people, you know, for us to have a good meeting, and for the people that are listening, you know, for us to take what we are take what we are learning, you know, the knowledge that we are learning to listen. So that's what I pray to for the Creator in my language, Miigwech.
Miigwech, Bernice. We appreciate that very much. I will now invite Nathan Roy, who is a friend of our college, to guide us through an intention for the day. Nathan has been a drummer and singer for over 25 years. He currently sings with a Grammy-nominated drum group called Bear Creek, who travel throughout North America all year round. Nathan is an Anishinaabe from Wikwemikong, located on Manitoulin Island. Nathan, welcome again.
Ani bonjour. Again, Nathan Mardishnikas, Komkom Donjaba, Toronto Donji, Chimigwech Kena Bijang, Mampi Nangwa. I just want to say hello again. My name is Nathan Roy. Come from Wikwemikong, as mentioned, located on Manitoulin Island. But however, I've grown up here in Toronto my whole life. Just want to say thanks for having me here again today. What we typically do in ceremonies, when we start a ceremony, we like to have a little smudge. Although I can't smudge here today, I'm just going to kind of demonstrate it, what we kind of do. So I have my smudge bowl here. We usually use what we would call sage. So we take our little piece of sage and we try and grab enough that would last throughout our whole ceremony. So if we're going to noon today, we'd kind of try and keep this going till noon. And when we do our smudging, it's like when you get up in the morning, when you wash your face and clean up yourself. We're washing our hands with the smudge for everything that we touch. Then we wash our mouth for what we breathe and speak. Then we wash our nose for what we smell. Then we wash our face and our hair all the way down to our feet to cleanse our body. And we do this with either our sage, I'm going to make a mess here, or our sweetgrass that we have. And our other two medicines that we call sacred to us are the cedar and the tobacco. Tobacco is our first gift to us, to our Mother Earth, that we hold and we use all the time with our, we hold it in our left hand because it's our closest to our heart. And we use it when we give offerings for our stuff that we need or want. So we take the tobacco and we offer it to the ground or to the fire, and we speak about what we need and would like to be prayed about. And when we give it to people, we do the same thing, and we talk to them and we tell them what we need and how to help us with what's going on in our day and what we need cleansing about to talk to people. Like you guys here, when they come to talk to you, they might bring you tobacco and they might ask you for guidance in what they need in their life. So now I'm going to demonstrate an opening song for you, just to call on the spirits, bring them in for your event here, so that we have a great event and a great, wonderful day. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Nathan, thank you so much. I always find it helpful. Every time I hear you speak, I learn more about your culture, and I appreciate that. And I noticed that there are some pieces of sage that have found their way onto my notes here, and I'm hoping that that adds to the meaning of the words that I have to offer to our people attending today. I'd like to take some time to reflect upon the past, present, and future of the land on which we're gathered today. I am not Indigenous. I am of settler colonial ancestry, and like many other uninvited settler people, have benefited greatly, enormously, I might say, from living on the land of what is now called Canada. As registrants are attending the educational forum from all corners of the province, I invite each of you to take some time today to personally reflect upon the histories and current circumstances of the land where you live. All settlers have a responsibility to consider what it means to acknowledge the history and ongoing legacy of colonialism. The college is on the occupied land of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Chippewa, and other Anishinaabe nations, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. Our college office, where we are hosting our meeting, is in the Dish with One Spoon territory, which is a treaty between the Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee that binds them to share the area and protect the land in the spirit of community. Other Indigenous nations, early European settlers, and all newcomers to Ontario have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Under this treaty, we are all responsible for caring for each other and caring for the land. Today, the province of Ontario is home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Each nation is unique in their worldviews, language, histories, current position, and future accomplishments. This acknowledgement is a reminder that colonialism is a current and ongoing process, and we are and remain committed to continue to engage in the important work within our regulatory context. A land acknowledgement is its first step, not an endpoint. The college is actively working on building meaningful relationships with Indigenous communities and individuals in the spirit of partnership, collaboration, truth, and reconciliation. We are doing so as part of our public protection mandate to better serve Indigenous people living in Ontario and to support registrants who are not Indigenous in improving their cultural competency, much as Nathan has done for us this morning and Bernice, when they are working with Indigenous clients and communities. I invite you all to join me in reflecting on how each of us in our own way can commit to moving toward truth and reconciliation. To all who are walking with us on this journey of learning and unlearning, I say miigwech. I want to take a moment now to go over some important housekeeping items. The Educational Forum live stream has live captions. To turn on the captions, click the Show Captions button below the video to view the live captions in either English or French. If you require assistance at any point during this year's Educational Forum, there is a help section for tech support at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Click on the help icon to connect with our live support, and we'll be happy to assist you. I also encourage you to connect with your peers using the private chat function available in the virtual portal. The keynote panel discussion, which you won't want to miss, will begin at 10:30, following a short break after the college update. We are very pleased to have the college's Director of Professional Practice, Christina Van Sickle, facilitate an expert panel discussion titled Supporting Clients with Care and Competence Through Intimate Partner Violence. We look forward to an engaging discussion with all panelists. Following the panel discussion, we will have a question period at which time registrants can submit their questions through the chat feature. If there are any aspects of this year's educational forum that you're unable to attend live, the video will be accessible on demand after today's event for you to view. Your attendance at this year's educational forum can count towards the completion of your continuing competence program, better known as the CCP. Following this year's forum, we invite you to complete a post-event feedback form to share your experience of the event. The feedback form will be sent to you via email after the event, so please be on the lookout for that. Your feedback is important to us and will assist us in planning next year's event. Once you complete the feedback form, you will have access to a link to the certificate of participation, which you can fill out and print for your records. I would now like to invite Denitha Bro, the college's registrar and CEO, to the podium to provide you with a brief college update. Madam Registrar.
Thank you, John. Welcome, everyone. I'm so pleased to provide you hopefully a short and interesting college update as the newly appointed registrar and CEO. And I'm going to try and make sure I'm moving my slides along as I'm speaking to you. So we have some really exciting initiatives happening at the college, and some of them, all of them, very near and dear to my heart. So I'd really like to take you through some of these updates. First, to just start out as an introduction about the college and its role. As many of you are well aware, this is the largest regulatory body for the largest mental health providers in Ontario. And I think that's something that we take a great deal of pride on. And our primary mandate is to protect the public. And protecting the public is a large endeavor. And we do this by a series of items that are listed there on the slide. What's really important, and in protecting the public, we want to engage with our over 29,000 registrants on an ongoing basis. And throughout these initiatives, as I walk through them, we'll talk about different points of engagement and where we would like to hear more from you. So one of the new initiatives that we're working through right now is our new database and registrant renewal update. This update to our software system has been quite an endeavor that has just gone live for the registrant and renewal portion, the registration and renewal portion as phase 1. Renewals have now been opened up. You'll see the email address if you have any concerns with renewals that you can email. But what we have presented through this new database upgrade is a self-serve portal that hopefully, for most of you, you can go and renew and engage with the college in a self-serve capacity. We remind you that the deadline for renewals is December 31st. We've also updated our application portal so that you can apply to be registered with the college through, again, another self-serve portal. As with anything related to technology, we expect a few bumps, and we have seen some so far. So we do ask you to engage with us if you run into any issues. Since this has been a new initiative that's just been launched, we are dealing with a few little hiccups, but we're hopefully getting back to you in a timely manner. Moving along with some of these database updates, we're very pleased to introduce our Equity and Inclusion Data Initiative. This initiative was recently approved by the college in September 8, 2023, but the college has been working on it for a number of years, ensuring that we're consulting with various individuals in the community, with registrants, public, and all parties involved. The initiative is going to be launched with the 2024 renewal season, and it's really actioned in our commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion. We want to see what our registrants' demographics, voluntary demographics are. And I think that's really what's really important about this initiative, that it's completely voluntary. And if you wish to participate, we're able to see what the 29,000 registrants out in the province are and how they compare to the public that we serve. Registrants can choose to answer all or some of the questions. They can complete the renewal process without answering any of the questions. So this is our first year. We're anxious to see what the turnout will be, and the data itself will be reported in aggregate format. Anytime we're collecting data, there's a fair bit of anxiety and trepidation about privacy, and we wish to assure you that we're taking every step possible to ensure that your privacy is kept. No one within the college is able to see the actual individual data linking the registrant to their answers in the equity and inclusion survey. If at any point a registrant decides after perhaps a year or two that they no longer wish to participate in the aggregate data that gets put out, they can write to the email address that's provided, which is inclusion@OCSWSSW.org, and ask themselves to be removed. And that's all in the renewal process. Again, as with collecting data, there's always a fair bit of fear on how the data will be used. And as I stated earlier, this really is for us to benchmark the registrant base and to provide insight into the degree in which diversity of Ontario public is reflected in the college's registration. And it's also important to explicitly state how we will not use the data. So the data will not be used to harm or discriminate against any registrants. It won't be used in a complaint or disciplinary process, and it won't be checked against any of the registrants individually. So again, it's aggregate only, and we assure you that that's how it will be used. You can find more about the equity and inclusion data in our website. We have a fair bit of information there, and as I stated, we're always available to answer any questions as they come up. Moving along with the initiatives, the other large endeavor that the college took is the revision of our standards practice, which is now available. This is the first comprehensive review since 2008. The revision has addressed some of the issues in the standards of practice to ensure that it's current, it's relevant, and it reflects the practice needs that we hear about in the environment today. The overall revision also addressed areas such as gender-neutral language. We simplified the language. As I said, we wanted to reflect the current landscape of practice, and then a greater focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion and belonging. It's important when we're doing these revisions to keep in mind that ongoing engagement with registrants are really what allows us to ensure that we remain relevant and that we continue to protect the public. And this level of engagement can occur through various ways, and we want to tell you a few of the ways that we're reaching out to you. When looking at the standards of practice, we want you to review it as needed, when appropriate, reflect, and then if you see areas that you think we can improve on, we want you to reach out to us. We've also have some webinars on our website that you can review at your leisure, and there's summaries of updates that are available for you at any time as well. All can be found on our quite extensive website. And then our strategic plan. So our upcoming strategic plan is due to be renewed in 2024. We're just finishing up our 2023 plan. Once this strategic plan gets, once we find out who the consultant is, which should be happening within the next week or so, we will be reaching out to the registrant group to ensure that we have your voices heard in building out the strategy for the next 4 years. Now, I've spoken a lot about registrant engagement, and it is something that's really important to us. And I think one of the main ways that we can engage with you is really through our council. So we have an upcoming council election. It's for District 4, but let me tell you a little bit about the council. So we are made up of a 21-member council, 2/3 of it reflecting professional members, 7 social workers, 7 social service workers, and 7 public appointed members. Council meets 4 times a year, roughly. They are the strategy, they are the policy makers. They ensure that the college is moving in the direction and fulfilling its mandate of protecting the public. Upcoming elections are for District 4, and the call for nominations will begin in January of next year. Can't believe next year is coming upon us that quickly, but it is, and that's when we'll be opening up for District 4. So, to all of you listening virtually everywhere, I ask you as counsel for you, if you're interested in the work that the college does, you're interested in public protection, you're curious about regulation, because I assure you it can be fun, please put your name forward if you're in District 4, social worker and social service workers. We would love to hear from you. If council isn't how you want to engage with us, there's always ways for you to engage through reaching out to us. There are committees and other areas and consultations that happen throughout the year. However you choose to engage with the college, we want to assure you that we want to hear from you. And I thank you so much for letting me provide you this quick update today.
Thank you very much, Denitha, for that meaningful update. I have to say, for my view as the chair of the council, Denitha is off to a wonderful start as registrar and CEO, following the many years that the college was led by Lise Betteridge.